Good morning. This is Bob Connors, Chair of the Newbury Police Station Building Project Construction Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Martha Taylor.
Here.
John Keller.
Here.
Eric Spahn. Chief Riley. Chief Lucy.
Not yet.
Okay, we have a quorum, so we can proceed. Vertex Context Team. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Steve?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Zell?
Yes,
Is Jeff on the line, Jeff Shaw, Zell?
I don't think so.
I don't see him.
I don't see him here.
I don't
Okay.
think he'll be on.
Okay. Good morning. This open meeting of the Newbury Police Station Building Project Construction Committee is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that the attendees are participating by video conference. All right, we have that out of the way, team. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing well this frosty December morning. I had sent all of you some additional documents this morning. There is a project schedule update. You have a request for permanent heat, turning on the permanent heat from BC, a context monthly invoice, and the TCS quote for final connections from the tech room to the console in the dispatch. So we'll plug those in as we go through the packet. If you turn to tab 1, we have the meeting notes from the November meeting. And why don't we take a minute to review those?
Chief is coming, by the way.
Okay, great. All right, we'll just give a second, see if John joins us. Although meeting minutes, I'm sure, Martha, if we have any issues, you will let us know.
Absolutely.
Do we have a motion to accept the minutes for the November 10th, 2020 meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, team?
Nope.
Hearing none, I will have a roll call vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
Bob Connors, aye. Motion carries unanimously. We turn to tab 2. We have the pay rec number 12 from BC Construction. It's been signed off by the architect, letter of recommendation from Vertex, and everything appears in order. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, team, any discussion on the pay rec?
So this includes change order number 2 for 35,949.79.
That's probably change order number 3.
That's
Yeah.
number 3. Sorry.
Yes, it does.
So that's a very good point, Martha. Our
It is
change,
included.
change orders to date on this project are $69,907.87, of which $54,000 is for the comm tower that we transferred, which actually comes out of our FF&E side of the project. So if you deducted 54,000 from 69, we're at about $18,000 of net change orders at the moment against our contingency. So that's a job well done by the team. All right, any other discussions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. I'll have a roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief John Lucy,
Aye.
Bob Connors votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, if we turn to tab 3, this is the monthly invoice for Context. I apologize, I just got this out to you all this morning. Steve, if you can, when you have a chance, provide a written letter of recommendation, but we can proceed and process this with your verbal recommendation.
Sure, I do recommend, and I'll get that written recommendation out this morning to you.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just shuffling paper right to the wire here this morning. This is the reoccurring monthly invoice for construction administration. So,
And I'm doing the warrant sheet right now.
okay, great.
So
All right,
that's For the 15.5.
Correct.
Okay.
John, if John Keller,
Yes.
if you can get those warrant sheets down to, if you can sign them and get them to the police station, I'll sign them. John can then bring them over to Martha, and we'll have everyone's signature.
That'd be great. We need them in by noontime tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll-
yeah, I know.
So I'll come by the police station. Do you want me to bring all 3 warrant sheets?
I have the one for the pay rec. And actually, I think I have, let me do this. I'll talk to you offline afterwards
Okay.
rather than bore us with this. Okay, tab 4 is the monthly Vertex.
I'm sorry, did we vote on that? Or did I miss it?
No motion and no vote yet.
Well, why don't we go back to that and, okay. Do we have a motion to accept pay rec 12 as presented?
That was for the
Context
No,
invoice.
excuse me, context.
So moved.
Okay, I'm going to take a sip of coffee break at the moment here. It seems
I'll second that on the copy.
getting ahead of myself. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the context invoice?
I'll make the motion.
No.
Yeah, I think we've already had them. We've moved and accepted it. So a roll call vote. All in favor, say aye. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy.
Aye.
And Bob Connors votes aye. Zell, I'm going to tell you, that was the hardest invoice for me to present, which is a struggle for me this morning, apparently.
And it's the same every month. So,
No, yeah, you know, you're right. You're right. All right. If we go to tab 4, you have the monthly invoice for Vertex. And John Keller has reviewed this. And John, actually, I have the warrant cover sheet for that, so
Yes.
I just need it for the context invoice.
Got it.
So do we have a motion to accept the Vertex monthly invoice?
So
I'll
moved.
make,
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion. Any questions, team? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye. I'll hold a roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
and Bob Connors votes aye. All right. Now, if we go to tab 5, we have PCO 19. And okay, so the short version of PCO 19, in the dispatch area, we had drywall and metal framing that abutted the mason area of the elevator shaft, and that needed to be furred out to receive monitor locations in the back boxes. So PCO 19 is to provide furring as required at dispatch room monitors. And it's for $2,565.39. And the backup is there. It certainly is reasonable and necessary. Do we have a motion to approve PCO 19?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, although, go ahead.
Yes.
Sounds like there's some discussion about it.
John, you're,
I'm happy about that at all.
Yeah, really.
John, were you attempting to offer some comments on it, or was it?
Which John, me, Chief?
Yeah, okay. No, I thought
Oh.
you might, I thought we were having a little bit of trouble with your line, John.
No, it's
No.
just the dogs are complaining about it. Bob.
Yeah, I'll just.
Are the dog's back barking on my background? You can hear that?
Yes.
Oh,
They're
my God.
supporting it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's opposition.
I am in the furthest room of my house with doors closed. All right, excuse me 1 second, because that's very annoying if you don't have a dog.
I have nothing to offer except levity.
That's always a good thing.
That's why people keep me around.
That's it. That's the only reason.
The only reason. I always hoped it was my charm and good looks, but nah, that didn't pan out.
No, it's just a comic relief.
I think that's a first. We had to interrupt a public meeting to quiet the canines in the background.
Actually, it's happened a few times, canines and children.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at PCO 19. As I recall, before I had to tend to the animals, that we had a motion and a second.
That's correct.
No further discussion. So all those in favor say aye. Roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
and Bob Connors votes aye. All right. If you turn to tab 6, we have PCO 20. And if you recall, we BC Construction came back to us with a quite reasonable cost factor for sprinkling the landscaping on site, and we want to proceed forward with that. So PCO 20 is to provide lawn sprinkler irrigation related backflow equipment, and it's in the amount of $8,824.92. Do we have a motion to approve PCO 20?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, team? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye. Roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
Bob Connors votes aye. All right. Okay, tab 17 is, surprise, surprise, PCO 21. And as you recall, we relocated the tech room from the first floor to the attic area, and a room was created up there. But the wisdom of all of us on site was that it should have a finished floor. So it's a fairly large area. Subflooring, resilient flooring is being proposed, and so we have PCO 21 to provide VCT at the tech room 301 per RFP 19. So do we have a motion to approve?
So
I'll make
moved.
that.
A second.
I don't know if I got the motion, so I'll second if I didn't.
I think Steve is taking care of that. It's a short list of us moving or seconding or approving. So, okay. Any discussion on PCO 21? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. A roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
and Bob Connors votes aye. Okay. So tab 8 is the hot list. Okay, so I think we can go quickly through this. Item 1, context invoice pending. Well, that's been resolved. Gale invoice on hold. Steve, you're working with Gale on that for a resolution?
Yes, I am.
Great. Mechanical commissioning, limited to revised scope. So the update on that team, Steve, why don't you bring us up to speed on that, or Doug, where we are on that?
Maybe we both can. So we did go out with a revised solicitation for a more limited scope. Doug, do you want to speak to the specifics and exactly where the timing of some of the activity on site might be?
Sure. We did get a commitment, it looks like, from BC that the substantial completion date is approximately 1 February. Based
So
on
moving
that, okay, yeah, based on that, we'll probably have these guys. Our original game plan was 2 weeks before that. We'll have an intensive 1-week commissioning process.
Okay, great.
It's a reduced scope relative to, based on, who do we have for facilities people? And again, Bob's kind of supplementing that with some thoughts on service contracts. So we think we can fill in the blanks and make sure we turn over a building that everything works from the get-go for the chief.
Thank you, Doug. So team, the thought on all this is really have a startup commissioning to make sure that all the systems operate correctly and are complete, per design. And there'll be a 1-year warranty after construction is completed. But beyond that, we're talking to all of the major vendors. The HVAC contractor has already provided us with a quote for an annual service contract. We'll be pursuing the same type of agreement with the elevator vendor. And who else? Elevator and...
We had security.
Yeah, I was gonna say security would be one of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, John, on security, will that be on your side? Will that be a PRS or a vertical, or is that
Well, I think there'll be an initial, I would imagine there'll be an initial commissioning with the vendor that PRS and myself will partake in.
Yeah, no, we're talking about, this is service contracts after
Oh, I'm
warranty.
Yeah, okay. I missed the
Yeah,
decision. Yeah, PRS would be taking that, yes.
okay. Okay, so that sounds like we have that pretty much covered. The one other is the generator startup. Item 7 is the genset. Doug, any idea when are they going to fire that up, load testing? And
I
then
don't know. I could talk to.
we
to
can do
Joe
that at the
today.
next
Yeah,
meeting.
we
Yeah.
made that a condition precedent. That's got to be taken care of prior to the formal commissioning.
Okay.
The other service contract you were thinking about was the UPS.
Yes. Yeah, and the generator as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Curbing, landscaping, exterior lighting status. Doug, looks like we're getting close on the granite. Landscaping certainly is probably subject to weather at this point. Do you have any insight on where you'll think we'll be with granted, the curbing should obviously be installed.
Yeah.
What's the discussion on finished landscaping prior to winter?
I would think at this point, again, you've had discussions with them about whether we're going to put down the hydro seed or not. But there's a couple of plants that are short, but again, that was what do you call it? Nobody can find them. So I guess we're going to take a credit back on that aspect.
Yeah, I think that's the worst case scenario. We'll
Yep.
just take a credit back on something like that.
Yeah.
So you,
And I know coming up, what do you call it? BC already has a game plan for snow removal here on the site. They have a contractor that works for them regularly. I'm sure we'll need to discuss again, what do you call it, minimum amount of salt. Okay.
Yeah,
But again, all the snow piles are back over here towards the trailer.
right. So, but I wanted to kind of stick to the topics on landscaping. Are they bringing the loom back up to finished grade? Certainly, we want to have all the curbing back to the top.
Yeah,
want
all we need is a
landscapes.
couple of good days out here, temperature wise.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that they might want to do the loam, but I don't think there's going to be any hydro seeding. I mean, I don't see the point of it, but unless you want to paint it green and just,
Well, I think we'll just leave it up to them, Zell. If they want to hydro seed it, it'll just be a punch list item in the spring, as
yep.
as we all know. So, all right, lighting status outside, Doug. Is there an ETA on all the light poles going out in the parking
I mean,
area?
they're all here on the job site. As soon as they finish the curb work, I think that's going to be a priority. Again, we have to look at, I haven't reviewed the hot list yet, but that's probably on there for installation
Okay.
next
Let's-
week, I'm guessing.
Well, you know what, guys, as we always do, let's just, we'll keep our hot list handy for our next meeting, just to make sure we cover all these. Okay, item 9, exterior punch list. Doug, you and I talked about this, and thank you for offering to start that with Jeff from BC. I think that'd be very helpful for the build team to close out the exterior punch list. It certainly isn't extensive, but it's so
No.
Zell, we're going to do that, provide that document to you
Mhm.
for your review, comparison, and then addition and deletion of items.
Right. So the way we usually work it is obviously the GC does his own punch list, their own punch list, and then they go through it, and then they give us their opinion about what's done and what's not done. And then we'll do our punch list based on that and
Right.
add or confirm or revise that list again. So, well, that's the usual process.
Okay. Well, Doug, I think the sooner we get that done, just looking at the weather, there's many items that can still be done. Some will wind up having to come back and be done in the spring likely, but if we can get that going, I think we can keep that for our next meeting. Okay, updated project schedule. Team, as I mentioned earlier, we just got sent out the schedule update 9. So we really haven't had a chance to review that. Why don't we do this? Let's all of us over the next few days review this, and we can circle back prior to next Wednesday. Okay, and whether or not we have to post a meeting for that, only if there are concerns, I think we would post the meeting. Otherwise, it's just the document record. Zell, you could offer comments on that certainly, and Steve as well.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
Okay. John, construction start time, any on-site issues with deliveries, parking, complaints? John Lucy, that is?
Nope, there's been none. Everything's been very, very acceptable.
Great.
The only curveball on that, Bob, again, is the fencing. The fencing's down. So the chief has been having his patrolman check the site occasionally.
Good. All right, thank you. All right, last item. Any other matters concerned or via the design group or build team? So 2 documents that I have, and then we'll circulate between Zell and Steve. BC Construction wants to turn on the heating system for permanent heat. And I recommend and agree that we should be doing it. They have sent a document, which is a prior startup of interior heating system. And it basically will help with all the remaining surface finishes. So you've got that document that came in this morning. I would recommend that we go forward and authorize them to turn on the heating system.
Yeah.
We need it for
Bob.
commissioning and
Excuse me, Bob, the only thing they need to add to it again is that the warranty is not going to be affected. That's our informal understanding, right?
correct.
Okay.
And I think the other thing too, Doug, is we certainly will be entering into a service contract with the HVAC vendor on that, and the mechanical vendor too. So
Okay. Can I ask a quick question? As far as this is a modern system, probably a lot more air changes than buildings that were done 10 years ago. Does that have any implication as far as COVID? There's been a lot of discussions about new standards on air changes and stuff relative to COVID.
So the only thing that I want to interject here is the commentary that I received back from our engineer, which I passed on to you. I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday. Their comments, which included the fact that the ERV units, they suggested that unless the temporary heat is done on a recirculating mode on that unit, that the exterior filters should be replaced as well, because if they're going to operate functionally the way that they're intended, they would be bringing in fresh makeup air occasionally. So in order to bring in the right amount of mix of fresh air into the system. So that's a question I think that should go to them. I mean, what is their proposed? How are they going to utilize the system? And if they are going to fully utilize the whole system, then the ERV units need to be involved and they need to know how. That was their main concern, to make sure that was being addressed, aside from the obvious, which is that all of the filters need to be changed, but they're doing all that. So I think that you're okay with it, in general terms. Because like you said, we want to bring in the air change as designed as should be done, I think.
yeah, no, I think a good point. So Zell, why don't we further that discussion at the
Yeah.
the weekly construction meeting, which will be after this.
Yep.
So team, why don't we do this? Let's make a motion to accept or to approve the permanent heat for the use of permanent heating for temporary heating. Do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? John Kelly, you second?
Yes, I second.
Okay. Any other discussion? And if the committee would give me the authority to execute this document at its final format, I think that would be the way to go. Okay, no further discussion. All those in favor, say aye. Roll call vote. Martha Taylor.
Aye.
John Keller.
Aye.
Chief Lucy.
Aye.
Bob Connors says aye. Okay, the last document we have is from TCS Communications. As you recall, TCS is the provider of communication tower radio systems. As we mentioned earlier, their original quote for the comm tower install and equipment in the tech room was under FF&E. We transferred that responsibility to BC, and the remaining component of that now is the final connections from the tech room to dispatch, termination of all cabling, and then the transfer install of the console and associated equipment required with it. John Lucy has worked very hard on this and has done a great job. There is wisdom in having one integrator from tower to console, and the recommendation is to go forward with TCS. This is an FF&E item, so why don't we do this? Is there a motion to approve TCS's quote?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? John, you want to just give a quick little recap on this, and then we'll move to a vote?
Yeah, well, actually, what I did just send you, Bob, is the signed contract from Seabrook Station. So that's all contributing to this and helping with that. So everything should be green lighted with them. Yeah, the console equipment, after we went out to bid went through the whole procurement process, we landed with an Evans product, which is a higher end in the world of consoles. TCS is very familiar with that product. So the transition from the old station with that equipment over to the new console should be seamless, virtually seamless.
John, just one question. As I recall, Evans was the only one that had an unlimited lifetime warranty on their product, right?
Yeah, they have an unlimited yes, they had the best warranty. It was limited on certain aspects of it. I don't recall off the top of my head, but it was a very, very good warranty, lifetime warranty on most of the components that we'd be concerned about. And the quality of it and the configuration that we wanted to fit in that area, they were proprietary in that. There were certain vendors that were on in the OSD contract that provided consoles, but not in the configuration that we needed. So they were the best fit. Evans was the best fit on many.
Great. Yeah, we looked at many options, and at the end of the day, it was having one vendor own all components was in the best interest of the town. And TCS is our local provider, would be providing annual service for us on that. So, okay, why don't we? All those in favor say aye. Roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Aye.
John Keller,
Aye.
Chief Lucy,
Aye.
Bob Connors votes aye. All right, I think. So just to cover a couple of other things, and I'll let John go into them. One, Chief Lucy and our town administrator were able to secure a $25,000 grant from Seabrook Station towards our genset. And John, why don't you fill in the blanks there, if you would? Great job, by the way.
Well, thank you. Basically, it's pretty simple. Seabrook Station or Next Gen, they're trying to get out of the generator business, and so when I solicited for some assistance with for the generator that we have deployed over there, historically they've always maintained and provided the generator for our current facility, but they've been migrating away from doing that. So what I was able to negotiate with them is basically make a contribution to what we have over there, and it's our responsibility, because they weren't going to take ownership or responsibility of that generator anyway, because it fell out of the scope of what they do take responsibility for, and that is to provide emergency power to the EOC. Well, now that obviously that's a lot bigger. It's a lot, it's a completely different system over there. It's a whole building system. So it just worked out. The timing seemed to work out well. We were able to negotiate that amount. We can now defer what we, that amount from what we paid for the generator back into the FF&E component of our project.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I just want to mention the first communication sent out by Mike Riley was back, I think, in May of 2019. So this is the squeaky wheel gets the grease on this one. And John, you got it to the finish line. And I know Tracy Blaze has been a big help with you on all this as well.
$25,000 is a small price to make me go away. Believe me, I gave him a break.
Well, you know what? It all helps. That brings up a good point. We have secured numerous credits on this project, which is the vigilance of this committee has done a good job, and cooperation with the whole build team and design team on that. It's really helped us to stay on budget. So the last item was National Grid energy credits. I'm going to let Doug talk about that. Broad brush, because of all the energy upgrades of a new building, the town is entitled to rebates from National Grid. And I'll let Doug fill us in on that if you would.
Okay, long story short, the young lady that administers the program has been very proactive in contacting the town up front to follow through on all this and to look at the drawings. The only real support we had to give her was the addition of the schedule of values, so her engineers could price up approximately what the systems cost. Again, that was all in our original specs with Zell for the subcontractors to make contact and to follow up. Obviously that didn't happen, but what do you call it? We were lucky that this young lady saw the project coming along and plugged herself in.
Thank you, Doug. So basically the town is going to receive approximately $9,000 payment from National Grid upon completion of the systems, proof of payment, and it, like all things when there's free money involved, a lot of paperwork, schedules of values and the like, but it's all mapped out for us. But it's another $9,000 coming into the town, which is a good thing. All right, why don't we go around to the committee? Steve, why don't you start? Any updates, any concerns you have that you want to mention?
No further concerns other than the schedule that we did receive confirmation of, which is coming in with a target of substantial completion for late January, as we've discussed. So as we get closer, we'll just continue the internal discussion to figure out when the appropriate move date will be. So that's my, probably one of my more primary concerns, just getting that plan of attack, continued dialogue on that and getting that finalized.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Steve. Zell, how about yourself? You're going to be on site today. I think you have a
Yes,
site
I
meeting.
am. Yes, I am. I don't have anything to discuss right now, but I will
Okay.
be.
Doug,
So-
how about, Doug, anything on your part?
Other than when Zell gets here, we need him to look at the curb here on the west side right
Yeah,
away.
let's just
Yeah.
walk through, you've got your list, just walk through it.
Yep.
And, I'm going to try to swing down for that as well if I can.
Okay.
Okay. Martha Taylor.
Nothing right now, thanks, all set.
Okay. John Keller.
I'm all set too. Thank you.
Okay. And last but not least, Chief John Lucy.
Just want to echo a little bit of what Steve said as far as getting a date. As soon as I get that date, I can start coordinating with state 911. Yeah, if we can, get that locked down as soon as possible, because I don't know what their look ahead is. It varies, but I'm not really optimistic that it's going to be a short date. So just to keep that in the back of everybody's mind, once we get that, looking at the date of substantial completion and tie over, I need to have that to get them on board. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that not to add confusion, there's a overlap between substantial completion and punch listing. And many times you're doing both at the same time. The reality is, from a town standpoint, certainly my viewpoint, we expect a 911 transfer on February 1st. That date is set in stone. And
Okay.
build team needs to hit that with then the actual relocation of the police station. So 2/1/21 is the transfer of 911 and the start of operation. So
All right.
that's
I'll
the
make-
town's position. Whether we're doing punch listing or a substantial completion, that's the date. So,
Right.
and we got to
Well-
carry that forward to the next meeting.
We'll convey that today. I'll get that locked in today.
Well, let's do this. We have our weekly meeting after the fact with the build team.
Yeah.
But that is not an ambiguous date. That is the date.
Okay.
So BC will have to do whatever they need to do to complete by that point. All right. No other business before the committee. Meeting is adjourned at 8:17 a.m.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.